Talking about cameras is a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool technology in these things. There's frames per second, how many autofocus points it's got, what's its ISO range, what's its dynamic range, lots of glamorous stuff to talk about. However, the tripod head, well, it's a bit less fun, it's a bit less glamorous. But for me, particularly a geared head, it is one of the most important items in my photography kit bag. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I use a geared head, what I love about my latest geared head, this SunwayFoto GH-PRO II, and of course I'm going to be taking lots of landscape photographs from this beautiful location, Dartmoor National Park. Normally when I make a video about gear, I always like to include an element of landscape photography. That way the video has something for everyone. And this video is going to be no different. However, I'm here to shoot sunset, so I'm going to do the photography bit last and talk about the gear first. So I'm going to divide the video up into three parts. The first part is all about geared heads, why I use them. And in the second part, I'm going to talk about this geared head, this one from SunwayFoto. And then in the third part, as the sun starts to set, I'm going to capture some landscape photographs. But let's do the first part first, obviously. Let's talk about geared heads and why I use them. The question you may be asking is, Julian, why do you use a geared head? What's wrong with a trusty old ball head? Well, I do have a ball head, but I rarely use it. The ball head for me is kind of reserved for those times where I need to go really small, really compact, really light, so such as a day in the mountains, but I don't really use it. I much prefer the geared head. Now, this is not to say that your choice of head is wrong for landscape photography. It just happens that I have a preference for geared heads. And you know, geared heads aren't suitable for everything. You're not going to shoot birds in flight with a geared head, are you? One of the reasons, there's two reasons actually, I like to use a geared head. It's the first one, believe it or not, is speed. But not how quickly I can make adjustments, but how slowly I can make those adjustments. I like the fact that a geared head slows me down. I have to turn the knob to make a change in direction in one axis and then use a different knob to change the direction in a different axis. So I've actually got three axes of control. I've got tilt, forwards and backs, pan, left and right, and I can yaw, I guess, or rotate it left and right like that as well. And I like the fact that I can only change one of those at any one time. The problem for me with a ball head is that once you've released the tension, the camera can move all over the place. So it's quite hard to make fine adjustments. And this goes on to my second point, is why I like geared heads. It's the fact that I can make fine adjustments. I can be precise with my compositions. Why would you want to add precision to your compositions? Well, in landscape photography, that's not always a requirement. You might be looking at a big, wide, open vista, perhaps with no foreground at all, and you know, minor adjustments to your composition aren't really going to have a dramatic impact in your photo. But there are circumstances, certainly for the types of photograph that I take, which often have lots of foreground. Being able to make those fine adjustments is really important because I want to exclude certain things from the frame or include some other things or precisely place certain objects within that foreground somewhere within the frame. And being able to make those fine adjustments to make those placements is really important, and that's why I use a geared head. But to help demonstrate the point, let's take a look at a practical example. I've come up to this viewpoint to demonstrate how precision helps me with my compositions. I've put the camera in a vertical orientation. This is very much a vertical orientation shot. This allows me to get a lot more foreground in. There's lots of rocks down here as well that I want to precisely place in the frame. What I'm not asking you to do is I'm not asking you to agree with my composition. You might think it's rubbish, you might do something completely different. That's all fine. The point of this little bit is to demonstrate how a geared head can help you make those precise changes to suit how you might want to do your composition. Now I've put the camera in a deliberately funny angle at the moment just to make those changes a bit more obvious, at least initially anyway. So let's have a look in the camera. Now I've got it recorded in video mode. This is so you can see what's happening on the screen. Obviously I wouldn't be shooting my stills in video mode, so you've got that 16:9 crop, but it should be enough to demonstrate the point. So if I look in at the screen, first thing I want to do is I want to straighten up the horizon so I can make very fine adjustments, and if I need to I could use the artificial horizon. There we go. I'm going to raise the camera a bit because you can probably just see my tripod legs in there. We'll come up a bit, like that, maybe zoom in a tiny bit, and then I'm going to rotate the camera around because I want to change the position of where that bottom rock is appearing in the left hand corner there. I want it to come in just out of the frame, the corner. Of course, to make a bit more of a dramatic change, you can see that rock there on the left. I might not want to include that, so I just want to rotate the camera just along one axis like that, and I can exclude that from the frame. This is where the disadvantage of a ball head comes in, because once you've released the locking mechanism, you've got the camera can move in all three axes. Now I only want to change one there. So I've got that, and I can straighten it out again if I want. I can rotate, I can change the position of where that rock comes out. But as you can see, very fine. I can do quite big movements, or I can make very small ones across all the axis like that, and then I think I'd be pretty happy with that, because now I've got those rocks and where they come out of the frame exactly where I want them, and that for me is where the geared head really comes into its own. It's been able to make those precise changes on a per axis basis. Right, let's talk about this gear head, specifically the SunwayFoto GH-PRO II. Now, I've been using this for a couple of months now, and I have to say it is the best geared head that I've ever used. Now, I've been using geared heads for years now. I absolutely love them. I just told you about why. But why do I love this one? Well, first of all, size and weight. It's the lightest and it is the most compact one. It's barely wider than my tripod, and importantly, it fits in my bag. I can just drop it in along with a camera gear, obviously in a separate compartment. So it makes it a lot easier to take out, and to be honest, it kind of makes me think, why would I even bother with a ball head? Because now I've got something that's small and light and a geared head. So there's that. It is also beautifully engineered. It is really nice to use, and you can open up the handle and you can make really fine adjustments, and then they fold away. It just feels like a quality bit of kit. It feels very well engineered, and I love that. Now, this does all the geared head things that you would come to expect. So I've got all the tilt functions and change stuff all across all the axes, but it's got a killer feature that I have never had in a geared head before, and that is that you can level the top plate here. It's got a little spirit level at the top here. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, panoramas. So once you've got that plate leveled at the top, the separate pan here at the top will give you a perfectly straight horizon as you pan your camera through your panoramic image. What I've always had to do before that is I used to have a leveling plate, which used to sit underneath my tripod head. You used to have to level that off, put your tripod head, and then you get the perfect straight thing. The thing with that is, like any other bit of equipment you have to add into your bag that you only occasionally use, is that you never take it out. It's never there when you want it. With this, I've got everything in one compact package. And just like I say, oh, and the other thing is, it's unlike one of my really old geared heads, this takes a standard plate, so I can use my L bracket in it. So it's absolutely, well, I don't know if it's perfect, but certainly over the last few months, I've really enjoyed using it, and it's now a permanent fixture in my bag. So yeah, it gets a big thumbs up from me. Okay, we've spoken lots about why I love geared heads, why I love this particular geared head, but now we're going to do the most exciting part of any one of my on-location videos, and that's capture some landscape photographs. If you are liking this video, remember to hit that like button, and of course leave me a comment. I do try and read and reply to everyone's comments. And if you do want to see more videos from myself, remember to click on that subscribe button, and if you do, remember to click on that little bell icon. That way you'll receive a notification as soon as I post up a new video. I expect most of you who are watching this video are landscape photographers yourself, and I've got to that kind of tense, exciting bit of the evening where I've got my viewpoint here It's got some beautiful light on the hills there behind me. Got the setting sun just over there, and I'm just getting some nice light across the side of these rocks. But I've got quite a kind of bluey sky at the moment. There's not much cloud, but there's this big bank of cloud coming across the sky, and it's taking its sweet time after a minute, but the sun's setting. So I just got to keep my fingers crossed that the sun stays up and I get the light just as that kind of cloud comes across. But I'm also going to nip across there, and I'm going to take the shot coming this way as well, because there's a really interesting rock there that sits up on top. So I'm going to climb up there, but I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of, as always with the sunrise and sunset shoots, you get this 5 minutes of just action, and you just have to run about and take the pictures. So the first one I'm doing here, like I said, it was that one I demonstrated earlier when I was talking about the geared head. I've got those rocks that point out. I get these nice side lighting on the tour, and then like I say, I'm going to go the other side and shoot it this way as well, which gives me the expanse of the rocks that go that way as well. But the light is just beautiful in that surrounding hills. There's a reason I keep coming back to this location. It's just beautiful. While I'm waiting for the light, let me tell you about the equipment that I'm using tonight in case you're interested. Obviously, I'm using my geared head here. I've got my Nikon Z7. I've got my go-to landscape photography lens, my 14-30. Love this lens. I've got my circular polarizer on. That's really helping deepen some of the colours in the sky there. What else have I got? 1 second timer. That's it. Pretty simple setup. I don't think I'm going to need a grad tonight. I've got plenty of dynamic range in the Z7. Oh, it's just fingers crossed. The light, oh, it's looking so good. Well, things are coming to an end for me this evening. The light kind of fizzled out. I was quite optimistic, quite excited there, I have to say, but it's quite hazy on the horizon, and the sun's just gone into that hazy patch, which meant that, you know, I've lost a lot of the light, or the good quality light on the side of the rocks. But I think some of my earlier shots have come out quite well. And besides, tell me when there's never a bad time to be outdoors in a glorious environment like this. Never a wasted trip. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you've enjoyed hearing about my geared head experience. Now, you might never have thought about using a geared head, so hopefully this has given you something to think about as well. Or maybe that you're a ball head user, maybe you'll think about getting a geared head. Let me know in the comments below. But I think that is just about it for me from Dartmoor. I'm going to pop up some other videos and links and stuff like that, so if you've got an extra few minutes, I'd be really grateful if you clicked on those. I do hope you have enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one.